Yep, that means we are live. It's a very good opening once again. I'm sorry for that, good people. Now, we are going to wait a few seconds to see if anyone will join us in the chat today. But today, Old Fart and Older Fart are going to talk about election meddling and how our social media is doing everything they can to make you forget Russian bots. Probably by becoming them themselves. But we'll get into that in a moment. Another topic we will address is the latest video of Alicia Clegg. Toxic. Damn it, I forgot her name now. Toxic Threats. See, I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry. Toxic Threats. She made a good video about, where are you? Come here now. Muslim Tawhidi warning the USA to stop political culture, political correctness, which is a very good topic indeed. So I'm probably going to show you a little bit of that one as well. It's only a small video anyway. Hi there, Malachite, and hi there, Michael Keller. What shall we forget about Russian bots? But they told me I'm one too, remember? Yes. Well, it seems that we are all Russian bots, especially if we disagree with what the mainstream media and the social media is telling us to believe. How dare you have your own mind? How dare you have your own opinion? We can't stand for that. Now, my good friend John is, or as we shall call him from now on, Older Fart, is finishing up his late tea, let's call it that.
Can I just say, John's a lot easier to say than Older Fart.
True that, but it's more fun to call you Older Fart.
Yeah, but you need to reserve that for the right occasions, not use it, not water it down.
No, that's true. You make a good point, my friend. You make a very good point.
Phew.
I have to admit, though, the name Old Fart and Older Fart was just a spur of the moment thing, but I like it.
It gets smelly somewhere.
It gets smelly
somewhere. No, not that kind of fart. You see, in Britain, Michael, a fart, an old fart, is a person.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a metaphor.
It's an old person.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah. So the thing is, we're going to talk about. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw my latest video. If you haven't missed much. But I'm talking in that one about how Facebook is joining the Russian bot squad. For fuck's sake. I can't say it without laughing. But yeah, we're talking about election meddling by social media. And that it happens quite often. So today I've got a few articles. And I'm not sure if John has any. I doubt it. He could have. Don't get me wrong.
You mean I pointed out the Toxic Thread one?
Yeah, no. I mentioned that one as well.
I'm saying that was my contribution because we're keeping it short, remember?
Yeah, we're keeping it short today. Well, we're going to give it a try to keep it short, shall we? So I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to share the screen. And I'm going to start talking about shit that happens. So this is starting to be really funny right at the get-go. Because as you can read, according to Facebook, now this is almost a month ago, let's be honest. But yeah, by now they've deleted more accounts, amongst which Tommy Robinson himself. Facebook bans right-wing groups, including the British National Party, right? Yeah. And EDL, the English Defence League. And Facebook considers them. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Facebook go away, you. Facebook considers them dangerous far-right organizations.
To be fair, the BNP is a far-right organization.
They are.
And the EDL are not a far. Well,
the EDL was started by Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, but but here's the thing. So that's what complicates it, which the liars in the media, the dirty smear merchants, are ignoring is he started it as a, as a multi-faith one, and then the right wing, the fascists, it joined. He tried to ban them, and as Tommy Robbins says, he's the only politician in Britain to actually have a criminal record for fighting a Nazi.
Yeah,
because he tried to physically eject a racist from an EDL meeting. But as with all things, the media say, "Oh well, they've got these racists there now, and he's founded it, therefore he's racist," which is just,
Okay, is this
still
better?
by association?
Michael, I'll start sharing this one. And oh man, see, this is the problem with old farts. They need to go to the toilet very often.
Yes, bladders get weaker with age.
They do. But no, it's kind of funny because, and yes, the BNP is a right-wing group, and even then I'm going to say don't ban them, because the problem with right-wing, or with any form of extremism, to be honest, is that when you push them underground, they fester. Sunlight being the best disinfectant. Yeah, no, I understand what you meant, Michael Keller. That's why I just put this on share now. So you should only see this one, I hope.
Yeah, it's working. It's working. It's not bringing me up.
I have shared, but I do have a VPN, so sharing a cookie doesn't really mean much, because every time I turn off my computer, the cookies, they are being eaten.
Well, I don't know what you meant by cookies, so I had to ask you.
Oh, for the website. When you join or go to...
Oh, I missed that. So I wasn't paying attention.
For the times, but I don't care much, because... But there's a problem. Yeah, I did, sorry. But there's a problem, and it basically says it right here. Facebook bans right-wing groups, and that's almost as if that's a good thing.
Well, it is to them.
But it's
Even, you see, I mean, it's funny because the Times is still considered right of centre, as is the Daily Mail, as is the Daily Telegraph, and yet all use terms like far right to attack people, and basically use the right as a pejorative now. So it's like, okay, so you're obviously not right of centre because you think being right is a bad thing.
Yeah,
in and of itself.
We don't have any right-wing media at the moment, and the worst part is, you don't have to be extreme right to be right. I mean, I'm not a extreme right. I might be getting more and more right-wing though, because, well, this is the worst part. I always considered myself left-wing, but my stances haven't changed.
It was considered left-wing in old Europe. No, it's always been portrayed as a right-wing Little Britain newspaper. Very xenophobic.
Really?
The Daily Mail, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because that they blocked right-wing groups like the EDL. Yeah, you know what? I don't really care. I mean, they're not a political faction, but that they blocked groups like BNP, they are a political faction. They might be a fringe one, but they are a political group. So where in 2016 and 2017 the world fell over themselves talking about how Russian bots did this and did that, here they're doing it blatantly, right up for everyone to see. And no one seems to care. I mean, the Italian right-wing leader, Matteo Salvini, is basically talking about how his Facebook personal page is being blocked. But he's an elected official.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
No,
he has wrong think.
Yeah, That's the point. They're blocking people because of the wrong idea. I'm sorry, but that's the Bolshevik mentality. And I made a video about it, as I said. Yes, they blocked Salvini as well. Yeah, I don't understand, but I would say that Italy, sorry, not Italian, Italy should now basically say, you know what, you're blocking our politicians.
Yeah, it's a hypocrisy after all those years of the Mueller report and Russian interference in American elections. We have these social media companies
actually affecting our elections.
Yeah, blatantly interfering in our elections.
They're not even trying to hide it. And I'm like, why is no one picking up on this? Because funny enough, I'm not in favor of Article 13, but stuff like this proves the Bolsheviks right. This is why Article 13 was made, to prevent shit like this from happening, funny enough.
Well, I think there's a lot more in Article 13.
Oh, there is a lot more in Article 13, but this is how they sold it to a lot of people. No, I'm sorry about the buffering, Michael. I don't see anything on this end. Not sure. Is anyone else having problems?
No, the Hangout's fine. It's the YouTube that's the buffering.
Okay.
Because I didn't hear any buffering because I'm listening to you live.
Mm-hmm.
And there are those on the lag.
I'm sorry, Michael. I hope it'll be smoother. It should be.
It's no. I'm convinced YouTube has an algorithm. Detect this word said. Introduce buffering.
That could be true.
No, I'm joking.
No, I'm not. Listen, there's a reason why my subscriber count keeps dwindling, and it's not because I'm crap. It's probably somewhat to do with me being crap, but there's more to it than that. If I see how much views my videos have on other websites compared to YouTube, YouTube is doing everything they can to throttle certain political voices. And I'm not big enough for them to ban. I'm not interesting enough for them to ban. But yeah, they'd rather not see me or people with my opinions, just not badly enough to actually do something about it.
Well, here's my conspiracy theory, right? So we've talked before about the slow progress from Alex Jones, and then and they try different things like putting Tommy Robinson in the extreme limited state, and basically they're just getting people used to it. This is how these things work. People react straight away, and then they just get people used to it. And then one day they're just going to have this huge list of people, and our channels are just going to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can already see amongst my list of people I'm subscribed to, there are lots of channels gone. Now, some of them may be gone because the people themselves removed their channel. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Well, yeah, but that's all part of the thing. YouTube don't care.
No.
But how many tiny channels we've never heard of have been removed? There's no way of knowing.
True that.
Because it's like Alicia outside our circle. Who knew that her channel got taken down?
Yeah, that's true. It's weird though. It really is somewhat worrying, because this means that our social media is not our social media.
Well, of course not. They're private companies. They can do what they like, don't you know?
Well, I disagree with that.
No, I disagree with that. But I'm not a free market moron. Sorry.
Well, I am. No, but this is not about free market.
No. I like free markets, but I understand that not every market is free. And when they're not free, you have to adjust your thinking accordingly to the fact that they're not free.
But it's somewhat.
It would be nice if they were all free.
But it's somewhat problematic, and I like that word. Thank you, left wing.
I don't think they invented the word. Trust me, they just overused it.
Oh, okay. Speech which does not conform to the beliefs of the party will be reduced to the speed of dial-up. Let the buffering of tolerance begin. The party season here is all for equality.
Yes.
You understand? Indeed, renovatio. Oh, that's a very good one, actually. Oh, I
Yeah.
wish I could pin stuff like that. That was a very good one.
Oh, they've changed the bloody thing. So when you do an at, your cursor's at the start of it, so then you have to manually go to the end of it.
It's too bad. I can only remove, but I can't say, okay, I want to pin that one. Anyway, so far. Guys, if you're not following what I'm saying, you should.
Sorry, Michael Keller's comment.
Real
Never.
humans.
Never.
Nasty.
We've only just accepted the French, for God's sake.
Yes, and the question is why? Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? In all fairness, the German and the French are the main problems of Europe. It's not like me to say, but they are. And obviously not the people of Germany and the people of France, but the politics.
Well, yeah, and this is the great confusion, is the country and the people are never quite the same thing.
Yeah.
And yet, those who lead the country always, to some extent, are of the people.
Yeah, well,
it's complicated.
Listen, if we see how fast, what's his face, Macron, lost favor of the French people. I mean, it didn't even take him a year, and the people are out revolting. I mean, it's not a good thing, I would say.
Well, we tried to warn them. Don't elect him, we said. Don't elect him.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Anywho, so Twitter is also, Facebook is also banning political leaders of other countries, and then we're going to look at the alt-right banning. Now, this is an article from 2016, so it is quite old. And even then, people were saying, here's why Twitter banning alt-right account is a risky strategy. And what's even worse, and I'm going to scroll down a bit so that the bloody video doesn't suddenly pop up. What's even worse is Twitter has blocked a lot of alt-right accounts. You should try, for the fun of it, look at Arabic tweets and translate them.
Arabic tweets?
Yes. The amount of anti-Jewish vitriol that comes your way, it's absolutely astounding that someone gets blocked for learn to code.
No, you see, as I said, Twitter is owned by a majority Arabic entity person. And what they want to do is stop us being anti-Semitic, because that's about control. It's not about belief.
They don't care about it. They want us to stop being anti-Semitic because they want to be able to tell us what we are and are not to think. But they don't care about anti-Semitism. No, not at all. I care about anti-Semitism in the same way as I care about all sorts of negative behavior. I'm not against it, but
see, here's what they do. Okay, so they use the events of 80 years ago to say, oh well, this particular hatred has this terrible consequence, but no other kind of hatred does. It's right to hate white people because that won't end in genocide, honest. But of course, you can say that about anything before it turns into genocide.
True that. Hi, Paolo. Good evening. No, but there is something seriously weird. And as I said, I mean, if we look at Facebook, they're banning right-wing politicians. But trust me, you can go on Facebook right now and look for your local Antifa chapter and read up on how they want to punch people today.
Of course.
On Twitter, you can look up Antifa, you can look up the Arabic anti-Jewish sentiments, and it still will be there. But everyone is talking about how YouTube is turning people far right.
Yeah, because of that stupid report, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was why the report was written, which everyone understood straight away.
And yet they still fell for it, it seems.
Of course they fell for it, because the people who understood it and talked about it aren't the people falling for it.
True that. That's
It's exactly why the Christchurch Tutored Manifesto was saying, and they're going to do X, Y, and Z, which is exactly what they did.
yeah. But that's the worst part. I mean, the Christchurch shooter, and terrible as he was, knew what would happen. But it's the same thing with the okay hand signal, or with it's okay to be white. These are things purposely made by 4chan and 8chan and whatnot, and they predicted what people would do, and they were proven right.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling doesn't begin to.
Well, it's because the behaviour is so easily read, so predictable.
Renovatio said somebody should hack
Yeah, no.
of enemies to proclaim each Antifa chapter as Nazis and watch them all attack each other. Well, the worst part is, Renovatio, I don't think it will actually make a difference, because I cannot believe that they don't, deep in their heart, already recognize that they are Nazis, because they very much are.
Oh no, you see, here's the problem, Modway. They don't understand what a Nazi is. It's just a label for a person I don't like.
Oh, okay.
See, if they had any actual grasp, historical or political, then they wouldn't be the way they are. But they don't have any grasp. They're just idiots.
Well, that makes sense. But I still can't believe that people. This is why I say subscribe to Minds. But there's another thing I wanted to say, and I'll go to my video because, plugging myself. Yay.
Hey, what you do in your spare time is none of our business.
No, that's true, that. But Cole Mortimer, I thought he had a different name. Did he change your name? I thought he had a different name.
Who?
Cole Mortimer. I think I've seen him before, but I think I saw him with a different name. Anyway, go on, turn off the sound. He made a very good point, and I'm going to show it to you because I really think it's a very good point. I do think we often give social media more weight than it deserves. Most people I've run into on Facebook tend to already have strong beliefs and don't ever listen to the other side. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. It is rare to have a disagreement on Facebook where you actually get a good nor even logical argument, not to the level of Minds or even YouTube. And it's
can I just say I have, but it's rare.
It is rare. I know. My lovely wife still is. Well, I'm not sure if she's still active on Facebook. I haven't been active on Facebook for 8 years or something like that. I mean, I have a Facebook account, but I barely ever look at it. And I remember her having discussions with people, and it's the standard left-wing rhetoric, and she can't stand it. I mean, can you imagine? She's living in a different country with a husband who has dual nationality, and then she's called a racist for recognizing certain patterns. It's beyond reality, really.
Yeah, well, you know. Do you remember that? I mean, it was that Baby and Family and Baby magazine, of all things, and they said, you know, if there's a white, particularly blonde family just being respectful and quiet and going about their lives, be suspicious of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is what they're doing now. They're actually normalizing hatred of normal behavior. If you're not a rabid activist, you are now automatically being turned into someone who's suspect.
Yeah, beyond stupidity, really. But
it's not stupidity. It's worse. It's calculated.
Yeah, true that. Anyway, it's been open for a while. People have been able to read it if they want to. So while Facebook is banning people is horrible and it hurts what little use the site has, I think the impact of it being a far left mouthpiece is negotiable when it comes to changing minds and votes. If anything, banning All disagreement will further harden the minds of those that disagree with Facebook and make them even more likely to go against anyone Facebook may more align with. We see the same with the news media. They did more to get Trump elected than Facebook did, while only trying to lie about how terrible he was and how bad the economics was. And you know what? I'm 100% behind in what he says. He makes a very good point. What worries me, though, is that this will cause polarization to extend, to get worse. And then there's someone saying that the gyro is on, and that's more important. It's terrible. No, but do you understand what I mean when I say this is scary? Because, I mean, he's right, but at the same time, because he's right, it's even more scary because all it does is create a bigger polarization within society.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the governments to stand up and say, you know what? We can't allow this. Either be open for everyone or open for no one. You know what? Let's do the video of what's her name? Toxic. I'm really crap with names. I wanted to say Alicia.
Well, it is Alicia.
It is Alicia. That is true. I'm going to run it. In the meantime, I'm going to take a fast bio break. Alicia, I'm sorry if you don't want me to run your stuff. Don't report me.
Don't worry. What time is it? Track 7. So that's 5, 6. She's probably having dinner and then she's off to. I told her not to take all her shirts to the gambling casino.
So, but this is the one you wanted to share, right? This is the one you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to run it. Then I'm going to go to the bio, and I'll be right back.
Talk about the political correctness. Is that going to be the death of our societies around the world?
It is the current beginning of the death. It's already happening. There are areas in France where Christians cannot walk freely. President Macron has come out saying that the Islamist movements want to secede from France. This is a leader of a country telling you that he has lost control. He's admitting finally that he has lost control. There are serious agendas being played in that region. Look, I am a Muslim, but I cannot live in an Islamist theocracy. I can live in a Christian government based on their constitution because that is where peace lies. I can't live in a place where ISIS rules the area. That's no Muslim with a brain that works would want to live under ISIS, right? And when we come to the West trying to warn the governments and intelligence agencies about what is happening, about the people we fled from, we have this new political correctness agenda that tells us, oh, we're the racists, we're the ones who are traitors, and the extremists needs to be understood and embraced, and they have a point, let's listen to them. And sooner or later, they're in parliament, they're in government, and there you go in America, you have Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib changing the narrative in Washington that is now affecting the whole, influencing and affecting the narrative around the world, attacking Jews, attacking Christians, and this is just the beginning. So if Christians don't wake up, Christian leaders don't wake up, then we Muslims who fled from extremists.
Okay.
Are you back?
Yeah, I am. Click. Because we don't need to do that. Such ill faith. Will he be back on time? I only needed to pee. Anyway.
Yeah, well.
I'm not that old. Actually, I am that old. I never pee a lot. That's the problem.
No, you pee frequently, so you do pee a lot.
Well, yeah, but not in one go. Fuck's sake, that's quite annoying, actually. Okay, so we watched it. I watched the whole video of that organization. I haven't seen the whole video. Is it any good?
Only if you want brain cancer, I think.
Okay.
That's the impression I get from what you said.
Okay. I have to say I enjoy listening to Imam Tawhidi, not because I agree with Islam, but because he as a person makes sense. I don't agree with any religion, so yeah, Islam is no different in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, he's a person who says my religion is for me, and this is the problem with what we now see in Islam a lot, is that a lot of people pushing Islam basically are telling us our religion is for you.
Yeah, like the other religions, such as feminism.
Yeah, true that. Which is problematic. I so like that word. I keep using it lately. It's bad though. It's actually lots and lots of parallels to our time. The video was from 69. Okay, what are we talking about now? Oh, Michael Kelly, yeah. Imam Tawhidi has been called Islamophobic quite often. I know a few examples of that. It's kind of funny. I once made a video, and I think it was about him and an Islamic doctor. And my first question was, okay, you know what? After watching this, let's see who is the one that dares to say something about Islam, and which one is the one that says you're not allowed to criticize Islam. And obviously I had seen the fragments, so I already knew, but it's kind of funny that Imam Tawhidi allows criticism of Islam, whereas the doctor was kind of strong about not allowing criticism of Islam, because how dare you? Imam Tawhidi reminds me of you from the Borg. Actually, I think that's a nice analogy. Though, what I disagree with is I don't think Imam Tawhidi is the exception. I think there are lots of Muslims like Imam Tawhidi, but most of them are quiet because if you speak out, you are an apostate. And we know what happens to apostates, don't we?
Yeah, under Islam. I'm just waiting for the British government to legalise it.
Well, considering I have two large documentaries about Islam in the UK, about how Sharia courts are active, how they were told to not be active, and how the English government is at one point pretending that they are going to crack down on Sharia courts, and at the other point they are simply allowing it to keep happening, even knowing full well that it does. So yeah, there is that.
Well, what was it? The Kalergi plan?
Yep.
Plan?
Kalagi. The replacement of Europeans from Europe. It's kind of funny. It's the only countries where diversity means being replaced are the white countries.
Well, it's this full switch to demonising and openly attacking the native populations.
Yeah,
it is, you know, and it's not only condoned, but it seems to be actually promoted by the government.
It actually is a goal. And the funny thing is, I have no problem with people from other cultures wanting to come and live here in our culture. But if they do so, then we need to recognize that there's a reason they want to live here and not in their own culture.
Yeah, they come to live in our culture, and therefore that is our culture.
And people like Imam Tawhidi actually says this, and he's right. And I know lots of Muslims, but also black people who will say this. Look at Thomas Sowell, look at Larry Elder. They will say this too. We're black Americans. but we're Americans. That we're
Yeah.
black is just a coincidence. But if you're going to call me a black American or a person of color, you're the one pushing me aside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly.
I want to be one in a country of many, not one in a group of lots of ones that turns away the country of many.
Which is why all this frigging social justice bollocks and, you know, racism, sexism in the name of equity is so insidious, because
Yeah, it's only harming our society.
well, it's not just that, but it's being the very thing they're claiming to be against.
Okay, oh, sorry.
And people are, you know, enough people are swallowing it.
Opa. I'm going to stop sharing now because I'm not really sharing anything. I'm sorry, people. I accidentally opened something that it's not bad. It's HitFilm. It's a free video editing software.
And
Yeah, nothing. It doesn't fit anything, so I'm just going to close sharing now.
sorry, you were apologizing for something. I'm going.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if you guys could actually see it because I'm messed up. I wanted to close something and I accepted it.
I saw a picture of rabbits, but I don't think that's something you need to
No, I can
apologize
show
for.
that. That's no. I can show that. That's I know.
I didn't say I wanted to see your rabbits. I just said,
Well, they're both dead, unfortunately.
oh, those two.
Yes. They were our first rabbits. Completely off topic, obviously, but they were our first rabbits, and we do love them very much. I'm going to share. Fuck it. Ha ha. Guys, if you don't want to see rabbits, you can blame John because he pointed out how I did that. So I'm
Are you a secret feminist?
Am I?
I point it out, you do something, and therefore it's my fault.
Yes, good, aren't I? I'm sorry. So, no, those were the two first rabbits we had. He was the first one, and she was the second one. Yeah, okay, I'll stop sharing. This is just for me. Anyway, so what did we want to talk about on the video from Toxic? Because you thought it was a great one, so take it away.
What? Sorry. What are we doing?
Talking about the video of Toxic?
Oh. Well. Sorry, my brain's dead. I was reading Renovacio's comment, and my brain's gone blank. Well, yeah. But I mean, I don't think it's that it's new to any of us. I think it's just an important that it comes from. That's why I think Imam Tawhid is so important, because he is a voice from that section that we're supposedly constantly attacking, and we're saying no. We're just saying what these people are, and they have repeatedly tried to deny his legitimacy as an imam.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting because he's, as far as I know, most imams are either of the Sunni or of the Shia descent, and he has been trained by both, according to him. So yeah, that's interesting to me as well.
Yeah.
And Umar Al-Qadri, I think it was Renovatio. Yeah, Renovatio talked about him. That's a good example as well of there are imams who are actually speaking out against the violence that comes with Islam, and we ignore them.
Or they get put on the SPLC list of hate people.
Yeah.
Like what's his name? The British guy who won $3 million off of them for their pains.
Oh, the guy that used to be a terrorist, but
yeah. He's now a radio host, a talk radio.
Yeah, leading Britain's discussion.
My mind is really blank tonight. I'm not going to be very good. I'm just going to be going, oh my God, I can't remember over and over tonight.
I think I know who you mean, but I forgot his name.
Yeah. No.
Well, you can have
Remember, I'm the older fart. I'm allowed to have memory loss.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, so I'm not sure if we can stretch it a lot longer, to be honest. Well, we can. Obviously, we can.
Well, Michael Keller really wants us to watch that video about the boy who cried Nazi.
The boy who cried Nazi. Okay.
Yeah, put it twice in the chat.
Okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm scrolling back up.
It's the underlined bit.
I don't see it. Why don't I see it?
Are you on live chat instead? Not the top chat instead of live chat.
Yeah. So what's that?
It has the word Nazi in it. So it's probably hidden.
Oh, okay. Here it is. Okay.
Yes, that's the one with Renovats. Yeah, Majid Nawaz.
That's. Oh, for fuck's sake! Sorry. Where is it again? Okay. So live chat and top chat. I didn't know there were different ones actually.
It automatically comes up on top chat, which is the sanitized version. So every single stream you go to, you have to go, I must remember to turn it to live chat.
Right, okay.
And then you see all the juicy comments people make.
This is a video by Neil Kolhatkar. I didn't make it. I hope he doesn't report me. If he does, well, so be it. So you wanted to watch this video, Michael? Let's do. Oh, wait a second. I should shouldn't I?
Yeah. And I'm not talking about the music artist.
You're not? Oh, okay. Share. There we go. Sorry, people.
Nazi!
Nazi.
Nazi! Racist! Racist! Nazi! Racist!
Where's the Nazi?
Her!
What?
Did she attack you?
No,
Did she hurt someone?
no.
What did this evil Nazi do?
She
Tell us.
said something I didn't like.
What?
She disagreed with me.
I literally just said Black Panther is an average film.
Nazi. Racist. Hey, where are you going? Come back. Hey, you're racist as well. But racist! No. Texas! Texas!
Sexist? Where?
Her!
She's sexist?
Yes.
Did she hurt any women?
No.
Was she being abusive?
No.
What did she do?
We were talking about Beyonce. And she said that she was beautiful.
Well, she is. What? I'm a woman. How can I be sexist?
Let me talk. Women are beautiful and should not be subject to harmful male standards of beauty.
Hang on, didn't you just...
Are you trying to say women aren't beautiful, bro?
Are you serious?
Women are strong, independent, and beautiful.
Are you kidding?
And they need men like me who see just how beautiful they are to stand up and protect them from men who see them simply as beautiful.
Wow.
I'm one of the nice guys. I was wondering if you want to get a coffee or something.
I'd rather kill myself.
Yeah, that's so hot when you exercise your independence.
If you don't shut up, I'm going to ram my fist so far up your ass.
Oh, do it. Do it. Women should be in positions of power.
Okay, we're leaving.
So beautiful.
Spot on so far.
Yes. It's well made. It's really well made.
Help! Texas! Racist!
Yeah.
We know. Everyone's a racist, sexist Nazi.
What did you do this time? Sneeze too loudly?
Sexist! Nazi! Racist! Sexist! Nazi!
A real man ought to teach you a lesson.
Nazi! Sexist! Racist! Nazi!
You're next, Doc.
Well, I'm going to leave it like that. It is a good boy cried wolf analogy. It really is. So thank you for sharing that with us, Michael.
Yeah.
I think I've seen him before. Wasn't he part of College Humor? I think he was. Okay.
Yeah, I think I mean I agree with Michael Keller about the lines like "How it can't be sexist, I'm a woman," or "She was sexist. What'd she do? Hit a woman?" And it's like, no,
Yeah, but it still goes at it from.
no, I know, but these things they're slipping under the radar and they're still normalizing the bias.
Yeah. I know. At work, I had a talk with a psychologist actually, and I was there getting a course on something very important to do with my work. I'm sorry, I can't really explain why it's important either. But yeah, no, we were talking about how, because I work with kids, how kids that come from a family where the mother is victim of domestic abuse, how this is a big problem for the kid, and this can exacerbate psychological problems. And I'm like, yeah, shouldn't that be parent, where the parent is a victim of domestic abuse? Because how is it not true for men? No, it's just for the women. And I'm like, bloody hell. This is why male victims, and in this case, by proxy, kids of male victims, have such a big problem in the healthcare. Because their ordeal isn't taken seriously. So yeah, you're correct. You're correct in pointing that out.
Well, it's not even not taken seriously. It's denied that it even exists.
Yeah, true. It's worrying.
Well, no, but it's part of the whole narrative. You know, because I was saying to somebody yesterday, I'll try not to mention on that person's Facebook page. They had earlier had a conversation with somebody below one of their posts, which said, the other person said, it's undeniable that domestic violence is gendered, men against women. Actually, it's undeniable that it's not.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
It's undeniable that it's almost, depending upon where you live, equal. The only thing that's weighted towards women is the bias.
Well, most of the Western world, it scores about 60-40. And the worst part is, this is actually true for most of the Western world. Countries like France and Belgium have different numbers, but they also have a very different population. So there is that.
Yeah, I mean, Renovatio says one law for all, one rule for all. That is the only system which is just, and nothing coming from the left today is in favour of it. I'd say it's even worse than that, because everything coming from the left is actually dismantling and replacing it with an unjust rule of law, with different rules and different laws for different groups based purely on how you were born.
I've said this many a time. We need to return to the rule of law.
No, we need to, no, but this is what I'm saying. It's not the rule of law. It's the law itself which is the problem.
Well, yeah. But if we look at, well, in the UK it's bad, but a lot of, I mean, a male, you can't be a male victim of rape unless the rapist is also male, which is, but in most Western countries they have come back from that one, so that's.
Yeah, but it's not about that specific offence. It's about every offence. We have official guidelines, sentencing guidelines, published from the government to the courts to tell the judges to treat women more leniently because they're women.
Yeah, yeah.
That is institutionalized discrimination. And these are the things being pushed for by the left. So it's not a question of they're not in favor of it. They're actually seeking to damage it, to destroy it, and to make it worse.
And this is true in nearly all aspects of the Western world too. Unfortunately, there is no denying that. So maybe that should be our next week's topic: feminism.
No.
We won't be able to do that in
everyone go get some chemo in anticipation.
There's utter fury from the left that our regressive left government have just launched a campaign against workplace sexual harassment featuring a woman abusing a man. Oh well, it does happen.
Yeah.
I remember.
No, but I think what Renovato is saying, you know, for all their faults, because he's obviously not a fan of the government, but they've actually shown a bit of balance in their campaign, which is certainly not true of a sexual abuse advert I saw in Scotland a couple of weeks ago, which was, and the thing was, it was so subliminal. I'll explain it in a minute, but and of course, merely by showing it can happen both ways, there are those who will or have express utter fury, and it's like, you know, it's ideological possession. There's literally no other explanation for it.
Yeah, it's scary though.
But no, the one in Scotland, because Scotland basically operates, it's got its own devolved government, and it's the law in Scotland is different from England and Wales, and they issued one, and it was
blasphemy laws.
Sorry,
they still have blasphemy laws in Scotland.
Well, whatever, who cares? No, please, I'm talking about an advert, so don't derail, please. And it was and the list of things. Take her wallet, take her watch, take her phone, and all the time they're building an image out of things like clothes, and they're building an image of a representation of a woman because it was a dress and a blouse, okay. And so I'm sat there and I'm saying, God, it's terrible the way they only focus this at women. My mum's going, what do you mean only women? I says, all the language is she, all the visual representation is of a woman. They're pretending it's only happened to a woman, but they're doing it in this subliminal way.
Yeah.
That, you know, people who aren't paying attention, don't pick it up, are not even acknowledging, because, you know, it's not in your face. Oh, it only is men against women, but that's everything about how they framed it. And if you look at all the accusations feminists have made over the years about, oh yeah, society's against women because everything's assumed to be male, they're using exactly the same tactics that they claimed were being done deliberately for a male purpose, for female purpose.
Yeah, that's but that's the problem. They are pushing a certain narrative, and if you don't think further, you're going to allow that narrative to drive the agenda. And a lot of people, I mean, how can I say this best? I work with kids in a psychiatric setting. Now, these are not stupid kids. They just have a psychiatric problem. And I talk to them very often about the narrative of politics and ideologies. And they somehow want to believe the narrative feminism is good, diversity is good. And I don't disagree with them on specific issues. It's good to have certain forms of equality. But I disagree with them, obviously, where you all know I disagree with them, that certain things are not good. And I call them out. And I'm trying to teach these kids. And there's one kid who is rather reluctant to want to hear the reality of it all. But even she is turning more and more like, okay, I know that if I say this, you might say blah, blah, blah. But she's actually looking into things, recognizing that indeed, between what is being told and what is real is a huge difference. And it's somewhat worrying that we don't teach our children this anymore. But we don't teach our children. There are adults who don't know this, who don't recognize this, who don't see this. And it doesn't matter on what topic we're talking, whether it's diversity, feminism, taxes, the law, whatever. It seems that people are reluctant to think for themselves.
Well, you see, here's the thing, right? So, the distinction made when I was growing up was simply this: when you're at school up to 18, they tell you what to think. But when you go into higher education, they teach you how to think. And they don't spoon feed you the information. That's what the library's for. You're supposed to go off and research your own information, come to your own mind, because it's about weighing up alternate views. Okay, and that's what you're talking about is being missed, because now education has gone away from that. This is a fact. If you don't parrot my views in your essay, you'll fail it.
But
and
the problem is we're seeing this in higher education now too.
That's what I said. That's what I said in our higher education. If you don't put this in your essay, you will fail it. That's what I'm saying. We're seeing this in higher education.
And I don't understand how or at what point this became the norm.
It's because the ideologues took over the departments.
Yeah, that's probably it.
You see, here's the problem. You have a system built on integrity. So the lecturer, the faculty didn't have to micromanage the lecturer because they were hired for their competence and trusted to do a good thing. And that works fine as long as everyone sticks to the old neutral model of what they teach. But the minute they become ideological and are force-feeding predetermined views and eliminating alternative views or alternative facts half the time, the model wasn't set up to actually detect and control that, especially if the faculty itself was taken over by people of the same ideological persuasion. They'd be like, well, what's wrong with that? You know?
Yeah, no, that's true. And it's weird. I try to put my finger on it. I try to understand it, but I can't. I don't understand. I don't recognize why this is happening.
Because you value facts and determining the truth, and they already know the truth, and therefore it's just about how you can make sense of all the supposed information to tell you why it was wrong or racist or oppressive or you know, it's that old Sarkeesian quote.
Listen and believe.
No, everything is racist, everything is sexist,
Oh, that
everything
one.
and you've got to point it all out. Because the point is that's an attitude of mind she was talking about. She's saying, because that's actually part of a longer quote. And what she was saying is when she first got involved, that was the mindset she had to get to terms with and then learn to control. Unfortunately, a lot of them never learn to control it.
Aye. Weird. Anyway, the whole idea was that this live stream is going to be shorter than our Wednesday one, so I am going to call it quits.
Indeed, it's the hour. We achieved our target for once.
We achieved our more or less target. But I did enjoy our talks. It was fun. Thank you, Renovacio and Michael Keller. And did someone else show up?
There was the High
and High Desert was here.
Pioneer and Malachite, very, very briefly.
At the beginning, but I haven't seen him since.
No, the numbers watching dropped down one shortly after.
But then again, I mean, there was a problem with the
Paolo, did you say thank you, Paolo?
I did say thank you, Paolo, didn't I?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't remember. That's why I asked.
No, fair point. Fair point. I'd like to thank all of you for coming, and I'd like to obviously thank John for making this such a fun endeavor. It really is. I really enjoy our little hangouts. It's only the second one that we do together, but still.
Well, apart from all the streams when it's only us two.
Through that,
the Wednesday streams.
The Wednesday stream. Well, I mean, I like the Wednesday stream together as well.
Well, if we can sort of make the two different, then at least it's sort of
yeah,
it'll give each one its own flavour rather than just doing the same thing twice every time. Twice a week.
Indeed. Congratulations, comrade. The work quotas have been met.
yes.
And thank you for the compliment.
We're now working unpaid and so want to leave.
Yeah, we're going to stay unpaid. I don't see myself starting a Patreon or anything.
It was a figure of speech, Modwin. Please don't take everything literally. I'm just saying because we're over, we're now working unpaid.
That's true. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just stop broadcasting.